Twice in 1 week. Oh my God, another episode. Chef's Kiss. I'm here with content creator extraordinaire taking over the New York market, Sam Luckini. Sam, what's up, my dude?
How we doing? I feel like we've been trying to do this for like months and months on end at this point. It's great to finally be with you. Obviously, you and I met in real life one time, which was really cool.
We did. You're
and
a
now
lot
we're on
taller
a
than
podcast
you would
together.
appear.
You know what's crazy? Everybody on social media tells me I'm short. They're like, "Yo, like you look like 5'3" like in your videos." I'm like, dude, like I'm like 6'4", man.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't say you look short, but I think when you meet someone in person and they're taller than you think,
Right.
you're just like, oh damn, yeah,
Right.
dude's tall, you know. And especially because I'm older, I always think like, oh, people are younger, like they're probably just like for whatever reason shorter, and I'm just like,
You're
no,
like
you're
25, right?
not. Me, dude, 35.
25, right? Come on, man. You kidding me?
I'm
You
an
look
old
like you're
man,
25.
dude.
You look like you're 25.
Got the
Come on.
grays in the beard, please.
Yeah, dude.
I got
But it looks
sciatica.
great, though.
I got a
We'll
lot
give
of
it to you.
problems. A lot of problems. Sam, let everybody know who you are, what you do, where they can find you, all that good stuff.
So I'm Sam Luckini. I work for Empire Sports Media, so that's Fireside Yankees, Fireside Giants, Fireside Knicks. You guys can find me on TikTok pretty much everywhere under my name, Sam Luckini. But if you pop up, you search up Fireside Yankees in Google, you will see my face. I'm all over TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, all these other platforms. I'm there. I work for an incredible company. Shout out to my guys at ESM. And yeah, I do a lot of cool stuff on social media. It's a lot of fun. So you guys should definitely check me out.
Yes, check him out. Obviously, you focus a lot on baseball. Yankees, big Yankees fan. And that's what I wanted to have you on here, talk a little bit about baseball. I know it's a little slow right now, but it's starting to pick up a little bit. I know we were talking off camera about spring training coming up. That's going to be fun. And then we saw an article come out today on MLB.com. We'll just hop right into it. First, power rankings for the 2024 season. Braves at number 1, Dodgers at number 2. Followed by Rangers, Orioles, Phillies, Astros, Rays, Yankees, Diamondbacks, Blue Jays. What do you think of that list? Is that pretty accurate? You shuffling someone around?
The one thing that surprises me here, to be honest with you, Sheff, is that the Dodgers aren't at 1. You guys know how much the league loves, absolutely adores Shohei Ohtani and all the moves that this team is making. How are they not at number 1? I don't think they're a better team than the Atlanta Braves is currently constructed. But them being at number 2 is definitely interesting. The Orioles up there at, what is that, 4, right? The Orioles are at 4. That's sick. They had a great season last year. Great young core. These boys need to add O's. Start adding some starting pitching. Go out and get Dylan Cease. He's right there for the taking for you. Obviously, we have the defending champion Rangers in there. The Phillies, dude, I don't know how many times we're going to have to go over it that this Phillies team is severely underrated. And I think that they, coming into this year, probably have a chip on their shoulder after last year, man. And this team has legitimate playoff experience now. So I think that they're going to be great this year. I'll pass it to you. I know you're a huge Phillies guy. So, like, what do you think about these Phillies this year, man?
Yeah, I like the position that the Phillies are in. I like that they won't win the NL East. I like that they take that number 1, number 2 wild card spot and, come in with 86, 91 wins, whatever it is, and they just run the postseason. They get hot, and I like that position for it. I think it takes pressure off, and, you let the Braves have it, and then you beat the Braves in a series, and they haven't made any moves, right? They locked up pitching, which is great. They didn't make any moves with center field. They're going to rely on Rojas. So Rojas was good during the regular season, very good, and then ice cold. He was like 4 for 45 in the postseason, 15 strikeouts, something like that. So it's one of those things where you watch it and you're like, God damn, dude, like you guys fucking blew it, but like let's run it back. Like we got everything. Everything is there. Everything is there. It's just a matter of kind of running it back, and this time will be different. So I like them right there.
Yeah, no, I do as well. I think that they're a lot deeper. I just feel like, maybe a couple of bullpen additions here and there. Obviously, MLB free agency is still going on, so we don't even know what they're going to do with the back half of that staff. But them locking up Aaron Nola long-term at the beginning of the offseason was huge for them because that's a guy that you kind of needed to bring back. There were a lot of rumors of him going to the Cardinals, but he's going to stay put right where he is. Houston Astros and Tampa Bay Rays. Now, the Rays being here is kind of interesting just because they dealt Tyler Glasnow off. There's obviously the Randy Arozarena rumors that he's going to get dealt somewhere. I swore that this guy was a Dodger. I swore he was
Franco's gone.
Wander Franco's gone. I didn't even think about that guy, dude. He's been gone from my memory for so long. Absolute scumbag. But, I won't even mention that guy's name. But the race being up there is interesting. I think the Houston Astros, you can never count these guys out, man. They're still just world championship type pedigree. They still have this core together. This is going to be Alex Bregman's last season in Houston unless he signs an extension. So he could go, dude. And, JV's still there. He could be... I don't know what to get. I don't know what to expect from JV walking into what are we, year 42 at this point with Justin Verlander? That's an interesting spot for the Houston Astros, man. I'm really interested to see how that team plays out this year. We play them on opening day, so that's going to be a good one for sure. Yeah. And then let's go Yankees, D-backs, Blue Jays. So New York Yankees, I think it's a fair spot for them right now. I think obviously we're going to dive into them in a little bit later, talking about starting pitching and that kind of stuff. But I think that's a good spot for them right now. The Toronto Blue Jays haven't really done anything crazy. They were obviously big in on the Shohei Ohtani market. They could still bring in Cody Bellinger. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa is their big signing of the offseason, which is cool. And then the Diamondbacks came out of the NL last year. You can't really take them off that 10th spot. They have an incredible young core. They just added Eugenio Suarez, which is at the very beginning of the offseason, which I feel like nobody talks about. But as a 10, I think this works. I feel like some of these teams could be interchangeable, but right now I think this works as a solid 10.
Beautiful. In regards to the Yankees, obviously, you like them right there in that spot. I want to know expectations for the Yankees this season. Obviously, you guys landed Juan Soto. What does that mean to the Yankees lineup, the way it's constructed? Obviously, Yankees underperformed this last season, man. What's going to be different this year?
So here's the thing with the Yankees, man, and it's rough because you look at this team right now and, outside of adding Juan Soto and Trent Grisham, realistically, what did they do, right? But I really think that it's going to be a matter of they're just going to completely flip the script. They had a lot of things that did not go their way last year. They brought in Carlos Rodon last year, and that ended up being a complete flop of a signing. But what I will credit that to is that he was injured the entire year. He legit did not pitch. He was one of the worst starting pitchers in baseball. I'm not going to ignore that fact. But the stuff was still there. The command was not. So his pitch, like the stuff plus, still looked incredible. The command was not there. He gave up a ton of home runs, walked a ton of guys. I think that if you give him a full offseason of rest and recovery, he's going to be okay coming into next year. He's probably going to live up to that contract that they gave him in the offseason. And as far as the bats go, I'll tap on Garrett Cole. Obviously, Garrett Cole is the AL Cy Young winner, so there's nothing really you can tap on there. He's incredible. But this team needs to still add starting pitching. And there's a couple of names that, have been floated out there that we'll talk about in a little bit. But as far as the bats go, you still have Aaron Judge, you have Juan Soto, who's probably this team's best left-handed hitter since, dare I say, Jason Giambi. Realistically, taking advantage of that short porch, which I don't really think he's going to do because he does hit a lot of opposite field home runs. I think he's going to be incredible. This is a guy that, as far as OBP numbers go, he has the second highest OBP since 2000, career-wise. The guy that's number one on that list is Barry Bonds. He's got a 420 lifetime OBP. This guy's an absolutely insane generational type talent. He's only here for a year. I think they need to lock this guy up long-term. I think he's going to have a good year in the Bronx, and then he'll be here for the long-term. Judge is obviously Aaron Judge. You're not going to do anything with that. Anthony Rizzo, pre-concussion, was one of the best players in baseball. He had a 148 WRC+. After he had the concussion and he collided with Fernando Tatis Jr., completely fell off a cliff. Was one of the worst players in baseball. I think, this is another guy. You give him a full offseason of rest and recovery, gets his head right, he's going to come back, and he's going to be one of the top 10 first basemen in baseball like he was 2 years ago, right? Giancarlo Stanton's slim now. I don't know if you saw this, but he dropped 25 pounds. This guy looks skinny now. And it's interesting because the thing with him last year is he was so unathletic and so slow, and we saw him run the bases, and he looked like a snail moving out there, right? I think the power does take a dip because, again, you're losing muscle mass. Obviously, some of that power could go away, but I think he's going to be a more athletic. Probably won't get hurt as much because he's not just an absolute brick wall out there. But, again, this is a guy that had a career low in pretty much every single statistic across the board. This guy had 191 last year, Sheff. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. Still smacked 25 home runs. But again, you add Juan Soto to this lineup, he's going to hit 6 for you. Gleyber Torres was incredible for you last year. He was your second best hitter on this team. He was your best qualified hitter because Aaron Judge didn't qualify. I think this lineup is a lot deeper, even with adding Alex Verdugo, who's going to play a solid left field for you every day. I think it's a lot deeper. I think we're expecting, not even expecting, but just hoping on a lot of bounce-back performances from some of these guys. And I think it's going to be a much-improved team. I look at this team, realistically, if they add, 1 or 2 starting pitchers, I think they win 95 games. I still think they're the second best team in their division. I cannot bet against the Orioles right now because if the Orioles add a top-tier pitcher like Dylan Cease, I can't see the Yankees overtaking them right now just because that young core is so nice. But they win about 95 games, snag that 4 or 5 wild card possibly, and once you get into the postseason, who knows? Anything can happen. So it's an interesting outlook for the team. It's going to be a really fun year for them.
Yeah, I saw some guys talking about just pitching around Juan Soto. Obviously, he walks a lot. He's got a very good eye, and that's kind of one of the things, the importance of the structure of the lineup, because you can pitch around Juan Soto, and whoever's batting behind him is really going to have to understand that they are going to get attacked. So I didn't know if you had what your ideal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 would look like.
Oh yeah, we kind of were able to now swap out lefty righty, which is really cool. And as far as a 9, I'll just even run through it for you real quick. I still think DJ LeMahieu's your everyday leadoff guy. The second half of the year, he was incredible. I think he had a 120 WRC plus and hit over 330, which is what you want from your leadoff guy. That's your ideal leadoff guy right there. I think you slide Juan Soto into that 2 spot. So here we go with this righty-lefty thing. So right after Juan Soto, if you don't want to pitch to Juan Soto, then you got to pitch to Aaron Judge, dude. So really, what are you going to do? Then you go right after that, then you got to deal with Anthony Rizzo, who's another left-handed bat. Right after that, then you go to Gleyber Torres. Right after that, then you go to Giancarlo Stanton. Then you go to Alex Verdugo. Then you go to one of the platoon of Austin Wells and Jose Trevino. And then in the 9th spot, kid who's absolutely electric on the base pass, you're going to go with Anthony Volpe. And I've said it a couple times, I even said it on our podcast, is that the scariest thing for an opposing pitcher this year is if Anthony Volpe's on base and you have to deal with Juan Soto and Aaron Judge, because the entire time, Anthony Volpe's just going to be dancing back and forth on the base pass, dancing back and forth, right? You can't walk those 2 guys, dude. It's just not going to happen. You got to pitch to this lineup now. There are way less flaws than there were in years past. I know this offense has gone dead at so many points of time this year, but I think that has been illuminated by, the ads of Alex Verdugo and Juan Soto. Alex Verdugo isn't the greatest player in the world. I'm not going to hype this guy up like he's Juan Soto, but he's a contact-oriented bat. He's something that this team desperately needed. He's a left-handed bat. He can take advantage of the entire field. He can spray the ball all across the field. And Juan Soto is an OBP god. So I just think from a perspective of what you needed to improve on, this lineup drastically improved this offseason, and I could not be happier with what they did with the bats. But right now, you just got to turn to the pitching. That's all you got to do.
Speaking of pitching, so we have Marcus Stroman, right, who was electric the first half of the season last year with the Chicago Cubs. He had the lowest ERA at some point. He's so fun to watch. He's tiny. He's polarizing. And then obviously the second half of the season was terrible for him. So when you go to a city like New York, it's unlike any other, right? The media, it's just a different atmosphere. So he came out and said he really wants to play for the Yankees, or that's his, desired landing spot. Is he a good fit for the Yankees there? With everything you know about him and the tweeting and how he talks about fan bases and stuff like that, do you think that really meshes with the whole Yankee culture?
So there are 2 sides of the coin here, and I will talk about 2 sides of the coin here with Marcus Stroman. I think that Marcus Stroman as a pitcher in Yankee Stadium would be generational. I think he would be incredible. This is a guy that consistently holds a 55% or above ground ball rate, which is great in Yankee Stadium because you know how that baseball can fly. His home run rates are on the ground. I think he had a .59 home run per 9 last season. He would be perfect from a pitcher-to-pitcher perspective. He throws 130-plus innings a year for you. This Yankees rotation needs durability. Marcus Stroman gives you that. I don't think Marcus Stroman's one of the top 25 pitchers in baseball, but for the Yankees, I think he's a perfect fit. And then on the other side of that coin, you have, his electricity, and you have how vocal he is with the media, and how vocal he's been of his dislike for the Yankees. And there are so many tweets, if you go on X or Twitter or whatever you want to call it, of him just kind of dunking on Yankees fans just because he felt like it. So from a Yankee fan's perspective, there's a lot of people out there that really do not like Marcus Stroman. I feel like he's blocked probably half of the fan base on Twitter. It's really cool because people tweet that out every once in a while, like, "Oh, at Stro blocked you." I fortunately have not dunked on Marcus Stroman on Twitter. I have not received that block, so I'm grateful for that. But you know, he comes with a lot of passion. He comes with a lot of energy, which is something that you like from a player. But when I look at this, Sheff, when I see this, I see Josh Donaldson, because Josh Donaldson, before he came to New York, was this electric, out there player, was always on Twitter, didn't shut up. One of the biggest shit talkers on the planet, right? Comes to New York, obviously completely falls flat. Everybody hates him. Everybody's dunking on him. He goes silent. He's a shell of himself. He's just not the same player. That electricity was not there that made him that great player. I fear that if Marcus Stroman comes to the Yankees and plays poorly, that's what'll happen. He'll just shut down. You know, that passion and that energy will go away. But like I said, I think he'd be a perfect fit, dude. Like, from a player perspective, from a strictly player perspective, when I look at a profile like that, I think he'd be great. But and I do think it gets done. Like, this is, when there's smoke, there's fire, dude. I really do think that it happens. I think it probably on like a 1-year deal. But there's two sides of that coin, man, and it's really interesting, and everybody's got to take about it. But that's mine. So
yeah, I loved him in Chicago. On the field, everything off the field, you know, he was quoted before he even threw a pitch at Wrigley Field. He was like, "I'd love to play for the Giants one day," and we're just like, "What the fuck are you talking about, dude? Why are you talking about you want to play for the Giants? You haven't even started playing at Wrigley yet."
Yeah, right.
But that whole first half of the season was incredible, and the Cubs are a team who aren't going to give you run support like the Yankees will. So I think that's where he really stands out too. He threw, what did he have? I think he threw a one-hitter last year against, I don't know if it was the Pirates. It was a 1-0 game, and it's like, dude, you guys can't score more than one run for your pitcher. It's got to be a nail-biter. So that's a team that's going to give him that run support, so I think he fits in well there. And who doesn't love a wild card? You know, I love, like, all the drama. I think that drama stuff, honestly, is going to help, like, grow the game of baseball, right? Everybody, you know, the homecoming between Tyreek Hill coming back to Kansas City and, you know, Travis Kelce's dating Taylor Swift, like, all that stuff creates buzz and people talk about it and helps grow the game. So, you know, I'm not saying, like, shit talk or cheap whatever, but, like, that kind of stuff, passion, is going to help people talk about the sport of baseball and make it really, you know, bigger than it already is.
100%. I think we need more. We need more of that in the game. There's a reason why players like Fernando Tatis Jr. and Ronald Acuna Jr. have so much pull. Is because of their swag and their electricity on the baseball diamond. Because people like watching that. People love seeing these really young, talented players perform extremely well on the biggest stages. And that's why there's this type of draw for the sport. That's why everywhere you look on the MLB social pages, you'll see one of those two guys, or you see Ellie De La Cruz, who, like, I don't think Ellie was not great last year. He wasn't. But he's so goddamn funny. Hit for a damn cycle, dude. Yeah. He's one of the fastest players in baseball. He can nuke baseballs for fun. Like, everybody loves that guy because they're young, because they're electric, and they want these players to be the poster boys of their sport. And it's a good, and they're doing a good job. They're doing a good job in that aspect by making those players national icons. So, again, like Stroman in New York, dude, it's soap opera. Like, it's drama. Like, that's winning an Oscar. That is winning an Oscar.
Yeah.
Like, you give me that, dude, the entire national media is going to be covering the Yankees this year if that happens.
One of the most important things that I saw over the last season or two is, speaking about Fernando Tatis Jr., is the embracing of being a villain. I really like that. I don't need everybody to be a sparkling hero and we're all good boys. Like, I like nitty-gritty, shove your face in it kind of stuff. Like, there needs to be a bad guy.
Yeah.
And the fact that you can embrace that, like, you know, especially, I see it here in Philly all the time, dude. People hate people, you know, that are from Philly, or they're, you know, they cheer on the Eagles or the Phillies, and it's like, you guys are scumbags, and, you know, their whole mantra here is like, nobody likes us and we don't care. So it's like a town for bad boys. Side note, that's why I think Trevor Bauer should come to the Phillies. I'm pulling for that hard. So it's just a town for bad boys. So Fernando Tatis Jr., I love that he embraces that. He came here to play in Philly, or I don't know if it was in New York when he was doing the hand signals, when he was like sitting down in center field.
He was in New York. Yeah, he was in New York because he was getting booed. Yeah,
he was getting booed, and he just loves it. He's like, I'm the bad guy here, and like that stuff is great. So for him to recognize that I'm gonna play into this, it just elevates it so much more.
Yeah.
So. Speaking of rules and stuff, we were talking about that. I made a video about just some silly rules if I were to be commissioner, which there should be a new commissioner because Rob Manfred's MLB is just not my favorite kind of baseball. So, Sam, if you had 1 or 2 rules that you would implement in baseball, we make you commissioner this season. What maybe 1 or 2 rules that you would like to implement in baseball?
Yeah, I got 2. I'm taking one of them from you. Get rid of blackouts. Rob, get rid of the damn blackouts on MLB TV. We pay upwards of $150 a year to watch your sport. And the fact that I live 40 minutes away from Citizens Bank Park and I can't watch them is ridiculous. That is stupid. I live an hour away from Baltimore. I can't watch the Orioles. When the Yankees play the Orioles, I physically cannot watch them because it's blacked out in my area. So get rid of the damn blackouts. Like, that's the number one thing that's got to go. The second one is a little interesting. So, what I have for you here, and this is, it's a real theme of the offseason with all the money that's being tossed around, especially with the Los Angeles Dodgers, and fans are complaining. Fans are pissed off because their teams aren't spending money. Now, the way that I can look at this is, dude, these owners are billionaires. They have so much damn money. They're trying to milk these for profit right now, right? Now, what I think that they should do, the MLB, or Major League Baseball, Jesus, I think that they should create a salary floor. Now, with this salary floor, I think that you legitimately just take every team's payroll in a season, and you add it all up, divided by 30 teams, and whatever number is in the middle of that, your salary needs to start there. So if it's $70 million, if it's $80 million, if it's $90 million, you have to have enough players on your roster that are getting paid that amount of money to be able to play in the league, essentially. Because, you have the Oakland Athletics, dude, who are spending $30 million a year. You have the Baltimore Orioles, who we were just talking about, who are probably going to win another division title, that are paying $35 million a year right now. They're paying $13 million a year to Craig Kimbrell. The rest of those guys, they're paying pennies on the dollar. Right. Then you have teams like the Los Angeles Dodgers, who are spending $350 million a year, and the Yankees, who are spending $270 million, and the Phillies with $250 million. If you want the game to be even, then you got to make a floor. It's got to happen. It would come with more competitiveness. It would make the league, there would be more of a draw for local fans to come out and be like, oh, so-and-so plays for this team. We just signed this player. I guarantee you right now, dude, in Kansas City, they don't care as much as people that care in New York about the Yankees with the Royals. They don't.
No.
Because outside of Bobby Wood Jr., what do you got, dude? It's not great, right? Because there just isn't that draw. There isn't that money that's being put into that roster. So I think a salary floor is necessary. I think it'd be huge.
And the thing that people don't understand is because I hear the argument all the time, and it's not a rich versus a poor issue. Because if you look at some of these teams like the Oakland Athletics, who did they have? Matt Olson. They had talent. They chose not to pay. The Marlins, Christian Yelich, JT Realmuto, Mike Stanton, they had players, they had talent, chose not to pay them. Well, the Marlins paid Stanton, whatever. But you get it. You still get talent. You're choosing not to pay them because you want to keep more profits as opposed to putting a competitive team on the field. So I absolutely love that idea. I was just trying to, that was one of the things I was thinking about too. I was trying to get a number. I was looking at how much they're spending, every team is spending every year. You could pull that up on Sport Track or whatever, and just try and see, do you have to spend a certain amount in free agency? Or like you said, you have to have your payroll has to be a certain amount. But they're absolutely, if you want to make this a competitive league, if you want to draw people, you can't have owners just not spending, right? And just field a AAA team.
Yeah. Another way that I literally just thought of this, you could take, what a franchise's net worth is. So, say the Yankees are worth $8 billion. A certain percentage of that has to go to your salary. You know what I mean? You have 10% of it has to go to your roster. You know what I mean? You could do that for multiple different franchises, but that's just kind of an example. So essentially you're not putting everybody on a scale against each other, but you're kind of competing against yourself. You're trying to get to that specific number that you have for your own franchise. And obviously you can go over because it's your money, right? But I think that would make sense because the owner of the Athletics has so much damn money. Mark Angelos, who owns the Baltimore Orioles, he has $8 billion in the bank, dude. What are we doing here?
Right.
You're not spending money for shit.
let's talk about all the streaming services, right? Yes Network, Marquee Network that you have to purchase, or if you have MLB TV, whatever. Like, these teams are not just drawing revenue from ticket sales. Like, oh, this is all of our money. Everyone come to the stadium, and here's, $13 beers. Like, there's generated revenue all around them. Mm-hmm. They have investments outside. Ricketts owns so much property around Wrigley Field. He owns all this money, so it's not just. That's what I see it on the internet all the time, and they're like, "Well, it's poor and rich," and I'm like, "It's not, dude. It's not. There's money everywhere. Don't let these people convince you that they're poor. Okay, I promise you, they're not."
Right.
Okay. Good rules. We should be commissioner. Got that. Sam, who's going to be this year's Diamondbacks? Obviously, Diamondbacks kind of really just were super sleepy. They just snuck right in, pulled the wool over everyone's eyes, I guess. Young, fast. Their style of baseball, fast, right? Everything on the bases, putting the ball in play. Who's going to be that team this year?
Dude, this is gonna be weird because I just kind of dunked on them, dude. But I have two teams. I have two teams that kind of fit this category. And again, I don't for the Diamondbacks to be a rebuilding team that end up going to the World Series. I think that's very unrealistic for pretty much any team in Major League Baseball, right? But these are two just kind of teams that I think will probably smash their over win totals and will probably be better baseball teams than I think that they will be this year. I'll start in Cincinnati. I'll start with the Reds. I think they're going to be a much improved unit this year. They just added Frankie Montas in free agency. But again, this is a team that was competing for a wildcard spot down the stretch last season and realistically could make the playoffs next year. They have a great young core. Obviously, we just talked about Ellie De La Cruz a little bit ago. But again, there's 6 or 7 guys on that roster that are top-tier talents and were high prospects for a very long time that all ended up debuting last year. And they could be much improved this year. And adding a starting pitcher like Frankie Montas, who, again, I saw him in New York, wasn't awesome, but has been a good player for a long time. And he could revitalize himself. We saw it with Sonny Gray after he left the Yankees. So I think that team's going to be a lot better than everybody thinks they're going to be this year. And a team that I literally just dunked on, dude, it's the Kansas City Royals.
Yeah?
I think the Kansas City Royals are going to be a sneaky, I don't think they're going to be great this year, but I think they smash this win total. Their win totals
an easy division too, right?
Dude, yeah. So they're at 66 right now. Their over-under win totals at 66. They added this offseason. They added Seth Lugo. They added Michael Wacha. And they added Hunter Renfroe. Brady Singer was bad last year, dude. And in 22, he was one of the better pitchers in baseball. Bobby Witt Jr. was generational last year for that Royals team. Right now, a lot of people are calling Bobby Witt Jr. a top 5 shortstop in baseball. And if you look at those numbers, it's bang on, dude. He's an absolute stud. They get Vinny Pasquantino back from injury this year. He tore his ACL early last year. And that number being at 66 in such an easy division, I think they're going to smash that. I think they end up going for 75 wins this year. Again, not a playoff team, but they're going to be a much improved unit, especially with free agency. And they added real low-key, sneaky pieces when their starting pitching was awful last year. And I just think they're going to be a much improved unit, man. I'm going to mark them at 75 wins to 9 wins over their over-under. I think they're going to be sneaky.
I like that. And you said their current total's at 66?
66.
Yeah, in that division too, dude. That division is such an easy division to take.
Dude, I love it. I just of all teams, it's really weird. And I was looking at Fangraphs and I was who's a really just underrated team that I think is going to outperform their expectations this year? Kind of like the Diamondbacks did last year with us, right? And I think the Reds have higher expectations than we all kind of had for them last year. I feel like they kind of put themselves in the map. They're kind of a national media attraction now with Ellie. But the Royals, nobody cares about the Royals. Nobody cares about them at all. Nobody cares about that division in general. It's legit just Guardians, Twins, or bust. But now, I think they're going to be a much improved unit, man. And their starting pitching was bottom 5 last year. They added 3 quality starters. It's going to be a much improved unit. I'm telling you.
What about Chapman? Is Chapman still there or no?
No, Chapman's a free agent. Because remember, he went to Texas. They traded him to Texas.
Yes.
They traded him to Texas, and he won that ring. God, I hate that guy.
I saw that picture with him. He's got some dope World Series stuff in his in his house.
He left the Yankees twice and won a ring. That really hurts my soul.
Well, yeah, he went to the Cubs.
To the Cubs.
Yeah, right after he shot a gun past his Girlfriend or wife's head in the garage?
Yeah, real nice guy.
That's a good story if anybody wants to read a good story.
He's a real nice guy. Yeah, just search up
Edison Russell also on that team. So
wow, hell of a guy too. Wow. Yeah. Wow, dude, he's great.
Represent. All right, let's talk about this deferred money to wrap things up here. My thoughts on this this deferred money is I don't care. I think it's okay. The rules are the same for everybody. I understand Guggenheim and the Dodgers are owned by 6 different groups of people who got tons of money. We understand that. Everybody's got money though. Some more than others, sure. There's levels to this shit, but I just don't care like when you're getting paid, when you're not. Super teams. Because like we saw, the Diamondbacks snuck into the World Series. The Braves were supposed to be good. They get knocked out by the Phillies. There's so many variants in baseball that I don't think you can create super teams because injuries happen. There's just too much variance. There's too many games. There's too many pitches. So that doesn't bother me. Everybody can do it if they want to. What are your thoughts on all this?
So I'll kind of piggyback off of that. So the biggest thing that I kind of took from my dad from sports is any given day. Any given day, you could see the Pittsburgh Pirates walk into Los Angeles and beat up on those Dodgers. Dude, it doesn't matter. These are all professional ball players. Injuries play a huge factor in that, and like we don't know that, dude. Like you just said, like we saw the Diamondbacks go to the World Series last year. Nobody was calling for that. Nobody. But as far as the Los Angeles Dodgers and the deferred money goes, man, you wish your favorite team was doing what the Dodgers are doing right now. You wish your favorite team was spending that kind of money and was doing what they're doing right now because any team can do it. Any team can do it. The Phillies went out and spent a boatload of money on Harper and JT and Trey Turner and Nola and Wheeler and all these guys. They got a World Series berth out of it. The Texas Rangers were in the middle of a rebuilding cycle. They were not good whatsoever. They went out and spent $500 million in the middle infield. They just won a World Series, dude. Like, you wish your favorite team was going to spend that money because every owner has this type of money. And if they wanted to go out and spend that money, they can do it. It doesn't matter, bro. Like, it is good for the game. It is good for the game that the owners care and they want to spend this money and they want to win. It sucks right now for some fans because you're like, why is my owner doing this? Why is my owner doing that? Yeah, get on his ass.
Right.
Get on his ass and tell him to spend money. That's what you have to do. Be like, yo, go be like the Dodgers, dude. Everybody has that money, dude. There's no cap here. These people are billionaires. They can spend that kind of money. It's an investment, and they will make more money off of it. So I am
the audacity to ask me for $21 for a frozen drink on a game in July, right? Think you guys got some scratch there.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask you for Ohtani, but like,
So yeah, it doesn't bother me. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like like you said, your team. You're not complaining about it because I've seen people, all the Dodgers fans are like, thank you for saying that. Like, I love it. And like, yeah, I mean, your team's making moves, dude. Side note, how many World Series in the next decade, the next 10 years, would the Dodgers have to win for you to say that this was a success? Spending all this money on Ohtani, Yamamoto, in order for this to be considered a success in the next decade?
He's got 10 years. My thing with Ohtani is I think his shelf life is weird just because of the pitching thing, because of his elbow.
Do you think he's going to come back and pitch, and is he going to pitch to the level that he was? Because I don't think so.
I don't
think so.
I think it's a lot of money for a player that I genuinely think one day is going to end up being a strictly DH. I think in 5 years from now, he's going to be a strictly DH.
Too much money invested into him.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen, dude. Like I can't see it happening. And the Dodgers again have the money to go out and get that pitching so they can go do it. And this is going to sound weird, man, but like I said, taking into account with the shelf life, if they win a single World Series, if they win a single World Series, I think it's like perfectly okay. Because talking about Ohtani's shelf life and realistically where their roster's at, and Mookie's getting older and Freddie's getting older. These are still incredible baseball players, don't get me wrong. But if they win a single World Series, like say they miss it this year and they win it next year, I think it works. You know what I mean? Because like that's the end goal. Is like you want to win one World Series. Now if they go the entire decade without winning a World Series, we're all going to laugh at them and point and hysterically laugh. But I think if they win one World Series, I think it's a success. And that seems like a low number, but I think realistically, when you're making that kind of investment, you just want to win a single World Series, man. That's all you want. Obviously, more is better, but if they win one, I think it works.
Yeah, I think it's more of a not necessarily a pride thing, but what people their first thought is if they don't win a World Series, they're not going to recoup the money that they had to pay Ohtani, which couldn't be farther from the truth, because I'm sure that they've recouped probably 15% of his contract already in jersey sales and ticket sales, like 15-20% maybe. They've already recouped it because the brand of Shohei Ohtani, the international icon that he is, he's going to pay for himself. So when people say that, like, oh, they're not going to win and it's not going to pay his contract, bro, no, dude. The brand that they just brought to Los Angeles pays for itself.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that I've seen people talking about. I'm like, no, that's not really how it works. So,
those jerseys are probably sold out everywhere. My parents went to Yankee Stadium. They don't have any Juan Soto jerseys right now. They're sold out.
No,
they bought them all. No, they're all gone. And that is an old Harrison Bader jersey right there.
Where?
That's an old Harrison Bader jersey. That's because that's what Bader was wearing 22 before Soto.
Oh, okay.
And realistically, it's the same number, and like they don't have the names on the back, so it doesn't even matter. It's an old Harrison Bader jersey that you're buying for $300, and guess what? They're all gone, dude. So like these players pay for themselves with their jersey sales, dude, and even ticket sales. Even ticket sales are like ridiculous. Like I think the Dodgers. I think I saw a video that like the Dodgers make $95 million a year in their ticket sales, like in their revenue. Obviously, there's a lot more expenses in there and taxes and stuff like that. But I think when you add it up, I think between Ohtani, Betts, Freeman, and Yamamoto, I think that's $95 million right there. So that's your ticket sales for the year. Those contracts are already paid for. So they're bringing in that money. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually really curious to watch Yamamoto pitch. More so than, because I mean, I've seen Ohtani hit and all that stuff, but watching from the World Baseball Classic, which was, I mean, that was an elite series. Like that whole, shindig was just awesome. So to see him pitch, I'm really excited for that. Do you do fantasy baseball at all?
I don't know. I tried it last year and I couldn't get into it. Yeah,
bro, it's like a job. It becomes a job, and
I couldn't get into it. I'm like so into fantasy football. I'm in like 8 different leagues, but I just can't do baseball for some reason.
Jeez, I do one. I'll do one fantasy football, and then
I'll
do one baseball one. Yeah, I just want to focus on one. I can't do it because I like to bet too. So it's
right.
Like, oh, I have their defense, but I have Josh Allen. I'm just like, it's just dumb. I'm like, I can't watch games with those guys too, and they're just like, yes, that's my kicker. Oh no, my defense. And I'm like, bro, shut up, dude. Nobody cares. Shut up. Sam, any closing remarks here? Maybe give me just a World Series prediction, and then just let everybody know like your handles and stuff where everyone can follow you at.
Who is my World Series prediction, dude? That's crazy. I don't know.
I didn't even think of one yet. Yeah,
I don't. This is gonna be weird, and I hate this team so much. I hate this team so much, but I think they come out of the NL this year. I think the Phillies do it. I think the Phillies come out of the NL this year, and then I can't pick the Yankees. It's against my religion to pick the Yankees, because it'll end up getting jinxed and it'll be everywhere on social media in a couple months. Who's gonna be in the World Series? Shit, I don't know. Whatever, the Yankees. Whatever.
Yankees?
Let's go Phillies, Yankees. Let's get a rematch of 2009. But I think the Phillies.
Fun.
But I think the Phillies win. I feel like the Phillies win.
I really hope so. I'm pulling for them. I fell in love with them 2 years ago, and that song "Dancing on My Own," and having Schwarber here from the Cubs and Castellanos, and you got Harper. It's just a very easy team to fall in love with, and
I've hated the Phillies for my entire life, but going to those games, I have such a good time. Like it's an unbelievable experience, and like the fan base and like all my buddies are Phillies fans, and like it's an unreal experience that as a fan you have to experience it, and being in that culture is just so damn fun. I couldn't describe it to somebody.
Well, Phillies fans are different from Eagles fans. I've noticed that. It's not the same kind of hostile environment. It's more of a family environment. And Citizens Bank Park, like when I first moved here, I'm like, low key, like, this is a decent ballpark. I know it's not like,
It's
it
nice.
could be like top 10, maybe top 13.
Yeah.
Like, it's like not bad, and it's they're all lumped together. There's a casino there, and you got Xfinity Live. But that whole area is pretty cool, and it's like big and clean. So I like Citizens Bank Park. But let everybody know where we can follow you at, Sam.
Yes. I'm at Sam Luckini. That's all my personal socials. I think everything's just at Sam Luckini. So my Twitter, my Instagram, and TikTok, all that kind of stuff is just at Sam Luckini. You guys can find my content everywhere at Fireside Yankees on all platforms as well. We're also on Facebook, crazy enough. So Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube channel. All the shorts go up on there and stuff as well. I podcast on there too. And then Fireside Giants, if you guys want to go look at that as well. My face isn't on there as much, but a lot of my guys are on there. That's at Fireside Giants and everything yet again. Sheff, I want to thank you for bringing me on here, man. I had an absolute blast. This was such a good time. I would love to do this again. Thank you.
Guys, just so you know, me and Sam might be meeting up at spring training now.
Yes, sir.
Trying to make that work. You're going for sure. I'm still trying to figure out details.
I will be there. I'll be there watching them Yanks, baby. Be there watching them Yanks.
Yankees!
I get to see that Soto shuffle in real time, Millie.
All right, guys. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Sam, stick around. But thanks for joining.